This is Peter Kummel, and today we're speaking to well-known hypnotist Jason Cyrus. He's been amazing audiences everywhere with his extraordinary stage shows and changing lives at his hypnotherapy clinic. We will learn how he got into hypnosis and his journey and where he is now. All this and more on Back at Home. Cyrus was born and raised in a small coal mining village of Minto, New Brunswick, Canada. His family, Mother Carolyn, Father Joey, Sister Stacy, and Grandmother Vivian, Nan, have always been a very important part of Cyrus's life.
One of the things I've always been taught is to always be proud of where you come from, and I'm definitely a proud Minto boy. Come from a small village, had an absolutely wonderful family. Father Joey Votor, Joey Knight, Mother Carol, Sister Stacy, and had a good childhood, raised with a lot of love. Being a good Atlantic Canadian, of course, I played a lot of hockey. Coming from a small community, we always had, especially with ice times and things like that, we always had a lot of ice time, so we actually had a lot of good hockey players come from the Minto area. The schooling system was absolutely fantastic. We knew the teachers personally, which was very, very nice. Growing up in Minto area, I was a member of the drama club, and I probably think that was one of the first times I ever was on stage, and I really became in love with being on stage. I loved acting, I loved being other characters, and it was something that I really, really loved deep down inside.
So we grew up together in Minto. I'm a few years older than Jason, so I used to babysit him a lot when he was young, and we always had a lot of fun. I think I was the only one that could really babysit Jason. He was quite a handful, so his parents always relied on me to make sure that he was looked after and taken care of. So I spent a lot of time. I was very close with Jason and his sister Stacy growing up, and like I say, I always babysat them. So good kids, and you know, I'm glad to see him doing as well as he is with his hypnosis and with Cyrus. So
Cyrus fostered his love for magic and hypnotists at a very young age. Cyrus thoroughly enjoyed entertaining everyone at parties with his magic tricks. He'd have people sticking to the walls and each other, forgetting names and numbers, and to this day, Cyrus remains a popular guest at each of the parties he attends.
All through my life, even as a young person, I remember my dad showed me my first magic trick. And even just that first magic trick, I was really, really comfortable. It was something that I really, really liked. I loved magic, I loved illusion, I loved the power of the mind, even at a young child. It was something that I was very intrigued by. So I read a lot about it and got magic kits, and as magicians and illusionists and hypnotists would come into the area or out of town, my dad and my family would always go take me to see them. So I was very, it was something that really, really interested me. I tried tons of jobs in my life, and there was always something that told me this is not what I'm supposed to do. Everything that I tried, I knew that I had to entertain.
you kind of wondered what Jason was going to do because he tried a lot of different things, and I think he always had his heart set in. Just let me shut that off for a second. I think he always had his heart set in the entertainment business, and he actually worked for me for a short while. And you know, obviously that didn't work out for him, and you know, I think when he started into it, I think he threw himself so deep into it that I don't know if anybody really thought it was just something that he was going to dabble in, because he immersed himself in it. And I think that, you know, I think when he did that, I believe everybody thought this would be a career for him, and a good career choice. So
I knew that this is what I absolutely had to do, because there's absolutely nothing in my life that I loved more than this, especially when I started to learn it. Of course, when I told everybody that, they thought I was crazy. So I kind of kept it to myself and just studied it, and I was fine with that. I knew at that time I wasn't ready to go on no big stage or anything like that. I just really loved learning about it. when it came to the time for me to do a stage show, I remember our first show was in Sussex, New Brunswick, and this is going back, I think, 9 years ago when I first did it, and absolutely scared to death because people are coming in, they're buying tickets, and they're there to see you hypnotize people. And once again, I knew that it was something that I could do. The show ended up happening, and I ended up doing almost a 4-hour performance, which is absolutely unheard of. I remember my dad was in the back, and he was like giving me the cut sign, and I just didn't stop because it was my passion, my goal, my dream, and I was finally doing it, and people were applauding, and it was one of the greatest feelings that I've ever had. But we definitely did a lot of work on the show since then, so we got it more together and more professional. So I guess from then, after that show was done, I knew that it was going to take a lot of work to get to the level that I wanted to be, and I ended up doing it, and here I am today.
Cyrus began studying hypnosis on the side. He kept it a secret from everyone because he didn't want people to think he was crazy. After all, he recognized that a stage hypnotist was not a traditional career choice.
When Jason told me that he's going to become a hypnotist, at first my reaction was, here we go. It was not really a typical career for someone who was planning to start a family. I mean, it's like having someone who's telling you he's going to become a singer when you ever heard them sing. So I was a skeptic, I would have to say. I was skeptic. And when we first start to perform shows, just to witness a volunteer, their reaction on the stage, and to hear them hear their experience after, really kind of started to change my mind. And more we were doing shows, more that I was hearing the volunteer, their reaction under hypnosis, and how they were feeling good and how it was great, really made me change my mind about hypnosis.
I knew I learned it, and I knew how to do it. But one thing that I didn't do was I didn't hypnotize anybody before the show, because I sincerely knew it was something that I could do. But when I got on the stage and I got people in the chairs and I was ready to do my induction, I was like, oh, I hope this works. But as soon as I started doing the induction, the people were really listening to me, and then I really started to see the signs, the outward signs of hypnosis. And when I seen that, wow, I was so impressed with what I learned and the hard work to that time. Once again, there was just another fire that ignited, and I was really, really happy with myself to do it. At that point in time, that's when I knew that I could actually do it. I was a hypnotist.
Cyrus decided to follow his heart and accomplish his dream of becoming a certified hypnotist. He completed his program through the International Hypnosis Association, and after completing many hours of required study, Cyrus then became a member of the largest hypnosis group in the world, the National Guild of Hypnotists. Cyrus began touring at the major theaters in Atlantic Canada and very quickly had one of the hottest tickets in town.
Our 2011 tour and our 2012 tour were absolutely the most successful. They're what I believe really put us on the map as far as having a very popular stage hypnosis show. So not one in particular, all of them have been absolutely incredible. And the great thing about hypnosis shows is that no show is the same, because you get different people every single time that you're on the stage. So you can't, although we know what we're going to do for routines, you can't predict what people are going to say, what they're going to do. So that's why it's so nice to have a great team together, and that everybody's on the same page, and we know how to handle the show and the people. It really makes the people feel comfortable when they see how professional we are, and it really makes me and my team feel comfortable when they see any situation being handled properly.
I saw Hypnotist Cyrus's show for the first time probably a couple months ago, and I got to tell you, I was blown away. I have seen some hypnotist shows in the past, and I mean, he knocks it out of the park. He's entertaining, he's funny, and the other great thing too is going to see the show. You know, we've interviewed him a couple times here on our station, and he's such a genuinely nice guy, and so when you get to meet him, and then you get to see what he does, and it's just all together, it's phenomenal. It's great for all ages. I saw kids in the audience having a great laugh. The adults found it funny, and it's just nonstop. You get everything, and I highly recommend everyone checks it out.
It was fantastic. We brought a lot of friends and family to the show, and we had a really good time with it. And he was just recently there again, and again, same thing. And it's not the same show every time. Like, I know you see a lot of different entertainers, and you go and you see the same show, whether it's a musician or a hypnosis or whatever it might be, and it's always the same show. Jason, he has a knack for spicing it up and changing it, and I've seen him do his full set, probably 4 or 5 times now over the last couple of years, and it's always different. He always adds something. It's unique. It's entertaining, and it's great. So yeah, I remember the first time, and I remember the second time, and the third time, and every time it's a good experience and a lot of fun.
The presence that he portrayed on stage, and every single person in that audience related to him, from the 15-year-old staff at Coors. My husband would have been the oldest member there that night, and he's 66, and everybody just relaxed, chilled out, had a great time. So, and I talked with Jason afterwards, and him and I just hit it off. He just, if I had a third boy, it would be him.
I was always really nervous, probably more nervous than Jason was then, because I was always worrying about how it's going to work, our dig, and are we going to keep our volunteer. But after doing so many shows, I'm fully comfortable now. It's always been a good success, and we always hear good comments from the volunteers. So now it's been a challenge, but a good challenge.
Sometimes there can be some adult humor, of course, but we always make sure that we keep it family friendly. We always rate the show like a PG rating, and we never want to disrespect anybody. I think one of the biggest things that we have done, especially over these past 2 years, is concentrated on that, concentrated on the safety of the people. And you see probably more people in our show than any other staying on stage. I mean, we set a record at one particular venue where at the end of the show we had 38 hypnotized people on the stage. So the biggest thing with hypnosis is rapport and comfort. And if people don't feel comfortable with you, the hypnotist, they're not going to let themselves go. They're not going to let their mind open up. And that's a big sign to me to say that we're on the right path, having these type of numbers on stage, and being able to handle them is the other thing. It's unbelievable. It's very humbling when you see that type of stuff, and that's why we're getting the success that we are getting.
I'm awestruck by the power and the energy that takes place, not only for me personally, but you could tell it in the audience. And to hear the doubting Thomases at the precursor of it to going, oh my God, at the end of the night was really cool.
The biggest thing that I love about doing these shows is I can take 2 hours away from people's lives. I can take their stress, I can take their worry, I can take the anxieties, and they can come in and see me, to see our show. And they can just let go of that and leave that outside the theater and just enjoy the entertainment of laughing. I don't know how many emails we get saying, laughter is such the best medicine. Thank you so much for that. I mean, we get tons and tons of emails saying these wonderful things, and I mean, that's just absolutely what makes me keep wanting to get bigger and bigger and better for these people, for the fans. Making people feel that way is probably one of the greatest feelings that I have ever felt in my whole entire life.
While Cyrus' career was soaring, he had to deal with a tragic situation, something that would change him forever. In May of 2011, he lost his best friend, mentor, and father.
My biggest mentor in my life was my father, Joey Knight, Joey Vautour. It was the biggest. He passed away in May of 2011. It was absolutely disastrous for me. It's still something that I'll never ever get over. I don't even know how to explain the pain that I feel and felt and still do feel from his loss. He was my best friend, my mentor, and the greatest father in the whole entire world. He was probably one of the only people that stood behind me as soon as I said, I want to become a hypnotist. Although even if he thought I was crazy, he never shown it. And I really miss him a lot. He did so much for me as a child, as a father. I just can't thank him enough. And he really is missed. He's really, really special person.
Well, I mean, obviously his father was an entertainer in New Brunswick for a long time. Back in the early 80s, I don't know if there wasn't a whole lot of country entertainers that would have been bigger than Joey Knight at the time. So I think a lot of that has to do with where Jason has gone in the entertainment field. Obviously Jason can't sing, so he decided to try something different in this hypnosis. But I think that, you know, Joey Knight, he created the mold for Jason early on in his life and in Jason's life, where, you know, Jason was brought up around the entertainment industry, and you know, his whole family, they've been indoctrined in it their whole life. So you know, not only Jason's uncles, but not only his father but his uncles as well, you know, recorded music professionally. So I mean, it's in his blood to be in the entertainment business, and I think that he's done quite well with it.
Don't go anywhere, because after the break, I'm going to test your subconscious mind.
Cyrus enjoys a multifaceted career. In addition to his stage shows, he also operates clinical hypnotherapy office, Mastermind Hypnotherapy, which enables him to offer support to clients in a one-on-one environment.
When I'm not on the road, I do hypnotherapy. I put together a really, really comfortable office in my home. It's very private, and people feel very comfortable coming here. Some of the things that I work on are my most successful. Definitely the most successful things are smoking and weight loss. But I also do a lot of insomnia, nail biting, stress relief, study and concentration. I work a lot with sports athletes, golfers, mixed martial arts fighters, boxers, these people that are afraid to public speak.
Well, although the shows are fun and entertaining, what impressed me the most, the part that I probably like the most, are really to see the positive change that people are able to accomplish through hypnosis, through hypnotherapy. I find this is the most amazing, and I find that's a part of what he does, entertainment and hypnotherapy. The hypnotherapy side was the part that amazed me the most, and amazed a lot of people too now.
I started smoking at 15 years old in high school. It was a thing to do back then, you know, like we were cool. But I got hooked, and I smoked for at least almost 20 years. And I started working at my present work, and I met Catherine, which is your fiance. And we went to school together. Actually, I graduated with her sister, and we started talking about smoking and all that. And she said, well, my husband hypnotized people. I said, well, boys, I'm going to have to try that, because I really wanted to quit. And I did stop before, but I always restarted smoking again. And now it's going to be 2 years in January, and I never started back, and I never craved it. I go out with the clubs with the girls, and I just don't miss it whatsoever.
The people in my life that are closest to me are absolutely shocked at the before and after, because Jason didn't just help me with weight loss. We delved into a lot of different areas. I saw him once a month for 9 months, and we worked on everything from weight loss to rejection issues to stress. We covered a whole lot of bases because there was a lot of emotional baggage in my past, and he's better than any psychologist because you're not reliving things over and over again. You're getting in and you're dealing with it at the subconscious level, and it's taken care of once and for all. So I'm a different person. I'm a completely different person.
If you don't feel that trust, or you don't competence, if you don't feel that that person's competent to do the hypnosis, then you're never going to allow yourself doing it. So that's what I try to do, make the person absolutely as comfortable as they can. And that's why I'm having people have such success with the therapy, and that is why our show is getting the success that it is today.
One of the biggest things that struck me right off when I met Jason was the heart behind what he does. And he's got an amazing heart, and that's why I would gladly tell anybody. I can't imagine them not lining up out the door to get in here to see him, because I tell everybody how he's helped me, and because the heart that he has, he cares about people. You know, he's genuine as they make them. And I know he could help anybody with anything they're struggling with. I know that I've recommended people that have eating disorders, confidence issues. We've dealt with confidence for me, and they're again night and day, because I really struggled with confidence. And there's so many areas that he could be helping people with that I know are going untapped. And even in our dental clinic, I mentioned to one of my bosses this morning, I said that, you know, I really feel that we could be making so much more use of his talents, helping our patients that are incredibly fearful of dentistry, or that have gagging problems, all these things that can be psychological or subconscious, I guess, not psychological, but that he could help with, that a regular doctor, unless they prescribe pills, could not help with.
Now, in order to feel the effects of the subconscious, I really need you to be sincere. Imagine the suggestions that I'm giving you. Don't let anything distract you. Just put 100% of your concentration into me, into my voice. The first thing I want you to do is to place your arms straight out in front of you and hold your hands about 6 inches apart. Now place your palms together and lend me the use of your imagination and your concentration. Now I want you to begin rubbing your hands. I want you to begin rubbing your hands, and I want you to generate some heat. I want you to put some pressure in between those hands. You're doing very, very well. Just keep rubbing those hands faster and harder, and in a moment I'm going to test your subconscious mind. Now here we go. Stop rubbing your hands. Go back to your starting position with your hands 6 inches apart and close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes and imagine and create that there are magnets attached to your palms, beginning to feel those magnets becoming active, causing your hands to draw closer and closer and closer than ever before. As you continue to focus and concentrate, you should be able to feel those magnetic energy between those hands, drawing them closer and closer and closer until your hands do touch. When they do touch, I want you to leave them in that position, and for the rest of you, keep focusing and concentrating. Excellent. You can open your eyes and have a look at your hand position. Now, if you felt that magnetic energy between those hands, drawing them hands closer and closer, that means, my friends, that you are a perfect candidate to enter the hypnotic state.